Hey, what is going on guys? RvzStealth here, and in today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys my opinion on the best mid laners for patch 6.7. Before I start the video though, I just want to give you guys a quick little update on the channel. If you don't care to listen to the update, then I'll leave an annotation on the screen so you can skip right to the start of the video. So I'm going to be done university in around a week, and that means I'm going to be able to produce a lot more consistent content on the channel. My goal is to make one video or a video every 2 days, so 4 to 5 videos a week, and that's definitely going to be a huge increase in the amount of content than what I'm making right now. It's really been quite hard for me to produce consistent content going to university. I've only been able to make like 1 or 2 videos a week, and that's because when going to university, you always have something to do, either an assignment or a test to study for, and it takes me, I've never told you guys this, but it takes me around like 6 or 7 hours to make one of these videos, and you guys might be a little bit surprised about that, but when you take into consideration, I need to get 5 gameplays, I need to make the commentary, and then I need to edit the gameplays together and edit the commentary. It does take up a big chunk of my time, and it was just really hard to make videos going to university, so I'm definitely very excited that I'm going to be done and that I'm going to be able to make more content for you guys. I'm also going to start streaming in around, I'm gonna aim for the end of the month, I think, to start streaming. I need to get better internet, and I also need to order a webcam, which I'll probably do tomorrow. So if everything goes smoothly, then I should be streaming probably April 30th, around there. I'll let you guys know. I'll probably upload a video to YouTube telling you guys when I'll be streaming. So that is something that you guys can look forward to. And I also just want to thank you guys for continuing to watch my videos. I know that I haven't uploaded very much recently these past few months, and I just want to thank those of you who have continued to come back and just watch my videos, and those of you who have still supported me over these past few months. It really does mean a lot to me, and hopefully I can make it up by producing a lot more content in these coming months. So with that being said guys, let's get into the video. So first up on my list is going to be Karma. Now you guys might be a bit surprised about this pick. I could have really put like any champion on the honorable mentions at this number 5 spot. I did want to give it to Karma though, because I think she's a pretty underrated pick right now, and I do think she definitely can carry games pretty hard. So she's got a really good early to mid game. If she can hit her mantra Q, then the amount of damage that does is pretty crazy. It can chunk squishies down to below or around half HP if you do hit it, and if you get a nice AoE mantra Q off in a team fight, then it could definitely change the momentum of that fight. She does have the speed boost and the shield as well, which is really nice for just engaging. You can use that to try to catch out enemies. You can use a mantra E, and you can also use it to disengage for your team as well. She does have the root, which allows her to set up some ganks pretty nicely in the laning phase. If you are going up against a melee pick in the laning phase, then you can definitely look to take advantage of that. She does also have pretty good kill pressure in lane if she can get a little bit of poke off and then go for an all in. She does have a decent CC too. It's not the best for any champion in the game, that's for sure, but she does have the slow on her Q and the root on her W. And a few cons to Karma are that she is not the best at anything. She's pretty decent at a lot of things. She's got decent engage, she's got decent disengage, she's got pretty good poke, but she doesn't do anything top tier, that's for sure. And she does rely on hitting her mantra Q to deal most of her damage, so if you can't hit that, then you're going to not be very successful on Karma. Next up, I have Ahri. So Ahri's been a staple on my list for quite some time now. I think that she is a great pick still because she's got good mobility with her ultimate. She does have really good pick potential too with her charm. Whenever I'm playing Ahri and I hit level 6, I always look to hit my charm whenever I can, and I look to go for an all-in. You want to make sure you're doing this on Ahri because she does have really good kill pressure at level 6, and you could definitely get a nice snowball going when you are playing as her. If you notice that the other lanes are pushing out too, if the enemy lanes are pushing out, look to go for a roam at level 6 with Ahri because she does have great mobility with her ultimate, and if she can hit her charm, then she's basically guaranteed to pick up a kill when she does roam. She is a very safe laning champion too. If she is in a harder matchup, then she can sit back and farm with her Q. She does have a pretty good sustain in the laning phase with her passive, and the true damage on her Q is also a pretty nice part to her kit. And one con to Ahri is that she is pretty skill shot reliant with her charm and her Q. Ahri isn't one of those champions where you can just jump right into ranked with her and do well. I would recommend playing her in normal games first, getting used to your charm range and getting used to hitting your charm, because if you can hit that, then you can be really successful on Ahri, but if you can't, then she isn't going to be the strongest champion. Next up, I have Velkoz. So right now, Velkoz is my personal favorite mid lane pick. I really like that he's got a great early to mid game. I find myself picking up kills in the laning phase as Velkoz once I do hit level 6, because the opponents just don't expect the amount of burst he does. His ultimate can just chunk the enemies down really well, and if you can hit your E, follow that up with your W, and just hit a fully channeled ultimate, then you can burst a squishy target down really easily. So I do like that he's got a really nice burst combo and that he can deal a lot of AoE damage in team fights. He does do true damage too with his passive, which makes him a pretty good pick against enemy tank champions. He does have decent CC too with his Q and his E. He is one of the longer ranged mid lane champions too, so that definitely allows him to stay safer in team fights. You always want to make sure that you are staying like far behind your opponent or far behind your teammates, because he is a very long range champion, so you really don't need to get up close when you are playing Velkoz. And in my opinion, he does have a really nice smooth auto attack animation, which makes it really easy to CS with him. And a few cons to Velkoz though are that he does not have a gap closer, so I find myself taking cleanse a lot of the time when I am playing as Velkoz, especially if the enemy does have a champion like Thresh or Morgana, or a champion that can catch you out, because if you don't take cleanse and you get caught out in a mid to late game team fight, then you're probably going to end up losing that game because you are a lot of your team's damage. And he also doesn't scale as well as some of the other mid laners into the late game. Next up, I have Fizz. So right now I think that Fizz is really strong just because of the recent nerf to Ma, and also just the fact that Fizz is a really strong champion due to his kit. He's got a great level 6 all-in. Whenever you are playing as Fizz, look to land your ultimate level 6, look to go for an all-in. If you are running Ignite, then you can definitely look to get a nice little kill at level 6 as Fizz. He does have insane mobility too with his Q and his E. His E, in my opinion, it's a bit OP considering that it's on a 4-second cooldown once you do have 40 or 50% CDR, so in mid to late game team fights, he's just so hard to focus because of his title Trickster, and I just think that that ability, it should either get a damage nerf or it should get put on a longer cooldown, because if the Fizz knows what he's doing, then he can definitely solo carry mid to late game team fights really hard. He's a pretty good roaming champion too. He's got the gap closers and he's also got his ultimate, which provides good sticking power. So when you are playing Fizz, look to go for a roam at level 6, and he does snowball really hard as well. So if you can get ahead with him in the laning phase, then you can just take over a game. And one con to Fizz is that his early game is a little bit weaker if he is going up against a champion who is ranged or against someone that can poke him down in the laning phase. And to round out my top 5 for this patch, I have Twisted Fate. So with the recent nerf to Ma and also to Zed, I think that Twisted Fate is definitely in a very good spot right now. He's got a game-changing ultimate. When you are playing Twisted Fate, look to go for an ult either top or bot lane at level 6. You do want to be using this ability on cooldown, and what I mean by that is whenever it's up, look to use it. I would recommend buying CDR boots on Twisted Fate or getting some CDR early on in the game, because you just always want to be looking to use your ultimate. It's his bread and butter ability, and if you can get good ultimates off, then you can definitely end up snowballing games. He does have the 2-second point and click stun, which is really good for mid to late game team fights and also for setting up ganks in the laning phase. It's on a 3 to 4 second cooldown, I'm pretty sure, once you do get it maxed out and once you do have some CDR. So if you can lock your gold card consistently in team fights, then you can definitely carry team fights pretty hard for your team. He's got good wave clear too with his Q and his red card. His tower pushing ability is also some of the best for any mid laner in the game due to his blue card. he's one of the safer laning mid laners in the game too, because if he is in a harder matchup where he's gonna get poked out, or if he's up against an assassin, then he can just farm with his Q if he needs to. And he does have pretty good one-shot potential on the squishy targets late game too. A few cons to TF are that he does not have any mobility, so kind of like Velkoz, if you are going up against an enemy team who's got a lot of crowd control, then definitely look to take cleanse in that situation. And in my opinion, he is a bit harder to play than some of the other mid lane champions, just because you do have to have very good decision making when you are playing as TF. You have to be able to judge when the right time is to go in with your ultimate, when the right time is to use your ultimate, and you also have to be able to lock your gold card on the first rotation of using your W. If you can get both of those things down as TF, then he can definitely be one of the strongest picks for solo queue. So first on the honorable mentions, I have Talon, and like I said at the start of the video guys, pretty much any of these honorable mentions could have been at my number 5 spot. So I think that Talon, even though he did get that nerf to his ultimate, he still does have one of the higher win rates for any mid lane champion right now. So if you are looking for a good AD assassin, then I would go with Talon instead of Zed or Yasuo right now. After the nerf to Zed, I don't think he is as strong. His laning phase is definitely a lot weaker now, and Yasuo, I think he is a little bit harder to play than Talon. So if your main goal is to carry with an AD assassin, then I would pick Talon over the other two right now. Next up, I do have Yasuo. So if Yasuo can be played correctly, and if he can be played to his fullest potential, then he can definitely be a very solid pick for solo queue. He can do a load of AoE damage in team fights. If he can get a nice multi-man ultimate off, then he can definitely end up solo carrying a team fight for his team. So if you are a good Yasuo player, then I would definitely recommend picking him right now. Next up, I have Annie. So the main reason why Annie is on my list right now is because she is a very good pick against any assassin champion. She's a great pick against someone like a Fizz or a Yasuo, a Zed, Talon, any assassin pretty much. So if the enemy team does lock one of those champions, then I would recommend playing Annie. Next up, I have Kayle. So Kayle actually does have the highest win rate for any mid champion right now, and that's pretty surprising, but she does have a pretty low play rate. So the high win rate is a little bit deceiving because she doesn't see a whole lot of play, so it could just be the really good Kayle mains that are playing her right now. However, she is a great pick against any assassin champion, kind of like Annie. She does have her ultimate, which makes her a great pick against Zed, so if the enemy team does lock an assassin and you're feeling like playing Kayle, then I would recommend it. Next up, I have Katarina. I know I've said this a few times throughout the video, but with the recent nerf to Ma, the AP assassin champions are definitely going to be pretty strong right now. She is a very easy champion to pick up on, in my opinion. She is a little bit harder to master, but once you get down when to go in during a team fight, you really have to judge as Katarina when the right time is to go in. If you can get that down, then she can deal a ton of AoE damage in team fights, and she can definitely snowball a game out of control if she does get a few kills in the laning phase. And to round out my honorable mentions for this patch, I have Malzahar. So right now Malz is a pretty good pick still because we are seeing the assassins being played quite a bit. Even though Zed did get the nerf to his W, he is still seeing quite a bit of play. We're seeing a lot of Yasuo right now still, so if the enemy team does lock an assassin, then I would play Malzahar. So that is going to be all for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy, then be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you have not already. So I will see you guys in my next video.